Hello and welcome back to episode 24 of our challenge to bring KoRail all the way to the Tour de France. We're almost at the end of the season, one more video to go after this, but that does not mean that there are no exciting races in this video. So let's quickly get into them, starting off this video with the Turul Romaniel. Obviously the Tour of Romania with a hilly stage in the second stage, and the rest are rather flat, although there is quite the hill/mountain section in that third stage. So other than that, it should be plenty of chances for our sprinters, not much for the mountain riders. Same here in the Tour of Serbia, 3 stages here. 2 of them are hilly, but they both flatten out there towards the end. Maybe they have an uphill finish, maybe this would be something for our punchers, but we'll have to see in the races themselves. Otherwise, not too exciting, except for this one, the Petronas Le Tour de Langkawi. 8 stages here, and especially that 4th stage with that massive hill is where the classification will be decided, I'm assuming, unless we can do really well in these sprint races and get a bunch of bonus seconds. I think that 4th stage is where it will matter for us. So let's quickly get into our first races, starting off here with the Tour de Romania. Again, a very flat stage, some mountain points here up for grabs, some in-between sprint points up for grabs, and we are here kind of with a B team.
Greetings to all. The profile of this race is quite flat. Expect a fast pace from the peloton.
A rather flat race, however there are a couple of in-between mountain points here for us to grab if we want to. We are very much in the peloton, however, so there's no chance of us joining the breakaway, and you already see it forming up ahead. The peloton is kind of chasing after it, so I don't know how much of a chance the breakaway will have here in this stage, but we are so far in the back that I don't think we'll have much of a chance to join it. I'm setting up Kim Sung-bom. Either way, maybe there's a chance for us to join them. But again, I am not entirely sure that this is the best choice here in this race. This is the first stage of the Tour of Romania, so there's a lot that can happen in the other stages as well. And I think I'll just relax here in the peloton and make sure that our riders get towards the end. Again, a bit of a B team here with us today, where we have Florian Carpentier and Matthijs van Strijtem, who will be our main sprinters in this race. Now on to the last 9 kilometers of this race. You see Jon already finished his pull here for the stage. Again, the commentator saying that it will end up in a mass sprint, and I cannot do anything but agree with him. 7 kilometers left to go. Our sprint train is going full out already, making sure that we are positioned at the front of this pack. Florian will be the one that will do the final sprint, and I'm hoping his positioning will be good here towards the end. Obviously betting on those 2 riders to do well here in these smaller stages. Not bringing the more experienced riders and sprinters, as they are already exhausted from the previous races of, for example, the Tour of Britain and any of the other races as well. Paul Fietske still a bit overloaded with all the days that we had scheduled for him, so he is also not part of this race. 2 kilometers left to go. I do a very early sprint here with Heyo. That means that I already exhaust part of the energy of our riders. Carpentier sprinting from the 1 kilometer mark, but he is unable to pass any of these other riders, and that means that there is only a top 10 position. Yes, a top 10 position here for him in this race. No podium for now. Still a pretty okay race here from us, I would say. Not ideal. Obviously, we want to get a better result here for us. You see here Heyo also in 30th and Kim Yun-suk in 36th. So not the ideal start here of this race. Obviously, we want to get a better result here. But again, we are here with a B team as well, so maybe I shouldn't be too harsh on this team, right? We're still trying to see where their abilities lie and how they will do in these types of races. Hoping for this team to improve in the next couple of stages, as we might have a couple more flat sections as well, and hopefully some uphill finishes, as we do have a couple of riders that are good punchers, and especially this one here with this hill at the end. It will be a very tough one, but if we are positioned at the front and the downhill section, I'm sure that we are able to win this race. All we need to be here is up front.
Greetings to all. The profile of the route is a fairly mixed bag, so everybody should find a section to their pleasing. The race will take place under a bright sun.
Plenty of in-between sprint points as well, and some bonus seconds there too. But that last hill is what worries me. I'm going to send out Jon here because, again, his classification and his season have not been the best. So any bonus seconds that he can get is fine, and then if he can manage to get across that hill at the end as well in a good position, then I think that's only beneficial for his reputation and his statistics. But my betting on him is rather low, to be honest. So yeah, basically saving the rest of our riders here in this peloton for that mountain section as we head up towards this first in-between sprint point, where, as you can see, Jon's yellow bar is already quite low. It has been a struggle to be in this breakaway, but he does get across the line here as first, gaining some bonus seconds and bonus points. Not sure what that will do for his general classification. He is only 10 seconds off the lead, but again, that hill section towards the end will be the rough and tough section here for him. Still 2 minutes on the peloton, however, still in the breakaway, still able to sprint for these in-between sprint points, but I do get slightly surprised here by one of the riders. He jumps out of the wheel of Jon, excellently done by him. Jon getting across the line here as second. 5 additional bonus seconds for him at least. If this is how the finish line will be, he would move up a lot in the general classification. But again, here now at that final section here in this race, moving towards the first in-between sprint points in this hill section, you see there's a little bit of a descent there as well. Jon absolutely braking, exhausted from being in the breakaway. If I can get to that descent section, I know that some of these riders will be able to recover some of their energies. 2 riders already up front as well, so I don't want to stick back. I don't want to let the peloton decide what to do here. I want to take the initiative and be up front here while the peloton, I should say, as you can see, splits apart. So it's good to be up front here. It's important for us to be up front. I don't want to push too hard here. There's still an entire section that is downwards coming up, and I just need to stick up front here in this peloton. I'm happy for the rest of it to break apart, but I just need to stay up front here in this peloton. The mountain points are sadly not for us. We don't really have much of a mountain rider with us today, as most of them are sprinters. But as you can see here, our other half of the group now part of this split here in the peloton. That means we need to manage this last section here with 3 of our riders, one of the Korean sprinters that we have brought along, hoping that our other riders will obviously make it back towards the front. And it's looking like it. It's looking like this this section that broke off will definitely get back towards the peloton. 73 riders remaining. It's a big section here, also split off still. 73 or 32 riders here that are split off. 3 kilometers remaining. We are quite up front here with Van Strijdom. It is such a downhill section here that I take the risk to sprint rather early. I'm happy to try and take that risk with 1 kilometer remaining. There's a bit of a corner there, sprinting with everyone that I have. Van Strijdom here in ideal position, exiting first from the corner and getting across the line here as first as well. Second place here also for Florian Carpentier and Hyun-Seo Kim with a 6th place in this race. The rest of our riders getting across the line in a top 15 position. Jon sadly a bit behind, lost too much energy in that uphill section and basically losing out all of his bonus seconds that he got in between. Matthijs van Strijdom, the number 1 in this stage classification. So great job here by him. I wonder what that will do for the general classification, but we'll see that in a second. Great job here in the positioning. Great job here finishing in front of everyone else. A fantastic job here by our Belgian rider. Also our French rider doing rather well here, taking up the 2nd place in today's stage. Getting some additional bonus seconds there for him as well. I'm sure that will matter for the general classification. Jon here finishing in 57th position. So again, not a good stage here for him. He did well in the beginning, tried to get as many bonus seconds as possible, but in the end finished way down below. Ended up 90 positions up, however. That is unexpected. He is now in the same time as Florian Carpentier in 4th position. What an unexpected result here for Jon Ji-won. Our Belgian rider, however, in 2nd, our French rider in 3rd. The rest of our riders also moving up a ton of positions. A great job here by our team, I would say. This is exactly what we wanted. An unexpected result here by our team. I mean, it's great that they did well. I'm happy that our positioning paid off. I'm happy that our strategy paid off in this race. I did not expect the rest of our team to do this well as well. You see me looking for anyone that I might have missed more towards the bottom, but nope, our entire team is quite up in the general classification. They are on, or basically all of them are in a top 20 position, which is insane for us. So great job here by us. Very happy with this result. And all we need to do is basically beat out the Romanian rider who is currently in first to try and gain that first position, try to win this tour with another very flat race here and another mass sprint in this stage.
Greetings to all. The profile of this race is quite flat. Expect a fast pace from the peloton. The weather conditions are excellent.
Great weather conditions, that is something. At least a lot of in-between sprint points here for us, so that could mean a bunch of bonus seconds. I don't think there will be too much of a gap here, and definitely this race will end up in a mass sprint. So you see me here attacking with Florian Carpentier, the third place rider in the general classification, trying to move here towards this breakaway, but you can see here the breakaway working together rather well, trying to make sure that Florian does not end up in that breakaway. They have plenty of riders up ahead. They will work together. They definitely don't want the third place rider in the general classification to join them and fight for those in-between sprint points. So I try my best to get him towards the front, but there's no chance for us to eventually get there. They stay out there just slightly too far, and Florian wastes a bit of an energy trying to catch up with them. And you can see that also in the green bar now for Florian. Jon, however, exhausted from the mountain, got basically destroyed on the mountain. 9 minutes behind the peloton here in this final section, in these last 6 kilometers, where our sprint train is going once again, making sure that we are getting ready for that mass sprint, making sure that we are getting ready to perform here and make sure that we can deliver a good sprint here towards this final section of this race, pulling it out all the way, using plenty of our energy to try and get towards the front. 2 kilometers remaining, sprinting a little bit early here with Heo Sangsu, already using up a lot of energy here from our other riders. You see a lot of these other riders also sprinting, so I'm hoping that this was the correct decision, but in the end it was not. Florian Carpentier sadly runs out of energy. No chance for us to really battle for that front position, and we end up here again in a top 10 position with our French rider, but not a podium position. No additional bonus seconds here for him, which is sad, which is what we kind of wanted in the beginning of this race. And yeah, one rider in the top 10, another in the top 15. That means that Florian loses a couple of positions here thanks to all the bonus seconds that all the other riders have gotten. Jon, obviously, that was in the top 10 position, tumbled down all the way to the bottom, losing 95 positions. A poor showing here for Jon. Got absolutely destroyed here in that mountain section. It was just too difficult for him. He lost too much energy and just tumbled down all the way down. Kim Il-suk in that sprint train, trying to do his best to bring our team towards the finish line, but in the end ending up losing a lot of positions as well, and we didn't end up gaining any with the remainder of our riders. Let's see if we can do better here in this 4th stage of the Tour of Romania.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. It's going to be a monotonous day when it comes to the terrain, but at least the teams with sprinters won't be complaining, and, of course, those opportunists with a bit of daring won't make their life easy.
130 kilometers of a course here for us, and are we opportunists? I wish we were. We tried very much to go here in the attack, but once again, the similar issues as we had here with Florian Carpentier in the previous one. Van Strijtem just barely does not make it here towards the breakaway. You see there are plenty of riders there in that breakaway. There's some teammates of each other there as well. So Florian trying, or Van Strijtem here, trying to get towards that breakaway, but ending up failing there as well. Sadly missing out on any of the bonus seconds, which would have been fantastic to get here for our Belgian rider, who is currently in 2nd position. Towards the last in-between sprint points, we are once again up ahead, thankfully caught up to the breakaway, thankfully managed to sprint towards that final position, or towards that first position in the in-between sprint points, making sure that we get all the bonus seconds as well. So plenty of bonus seconds here for our team. Excellent job here by us. On to the last 8 kilometers here of this race. Once again, a mass sprint. Who is surprised? I am not, seeing that this stage is incredibly flat, and we are getting ready to sprint all out once again. Jon once again exhausted as well, so not much of a chance for him to do well in this race, I would assume. He's on the last wheel of our sprint train, doing the first pull as well to, you know, see if we can get some energy in, and maybe he can do a final sprint that is worth his stature. Winner of the National Championship of Korea in one of the previous years, or in 2024 5, I should say, I guess. And now here in this year, sadly not doing as well, not performing as his standard would be. Again, an early sprint here by Heo, and that is because I see that corner coming up here. I want to be first out of that corner and then do a big sprint here with Carpentier towards that 1 kilometer line. Sprinting from his wheel is Van Strijten, but he gets blocked by another rider, and Carpentier actually winning the 3rd or 4th stage of the Tour of Romania. An incredible job here by our French rider. Our Belgian rider getting across the line here as 6th. I feel like he would have done better if he did not get blocked here by one of the other riders. But either way, we won the stage. A great job here by Florian Carpentier, our French rider, showing off his sprinting skills towards the end of these stages. Once again, great job here by him, proving that KoRail, even with a B team, can win these stages rather well. I'm curious, again, what that will do for the general classification. We got those bonus seconds as well. Don't forget those towards the end. And now winning this stage will give us 10 more bonus seconds for our French rider. So I'm hoping that this will make a big difference here for our team. You see here the Romanian rider currently with 3 jerseys. Obviously, obviously I don't want him to have those in the next one. And he definitely will not have them in the 5th stage, with Carpentier here in 1st position. Matthijs still in 2nd. So great job by our team. The rest of our riders moving down a little bit, but I think that's worth it as we have a victor for the team here, and we have our riders in a 1 and 2 position here in the Tour of Romania. Great job by them. Jon in the end also moving up a couple of positions, so congratulations to him. And you see now in the points, Florian also moving up, obviously also the leader in the Young Riders classification. And in the team positioning, we are also moving up. So great job here today by our team. Let's see if we can keep the lead and, yeah, basically finish it off here in this 5th stage of the Tour of Romania.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's going to be a monotonous day when it comes to the terrain, but at least the teams with sprinters won't be complaining. And, of course, those opportunists with a bit of daring won't make their life easy.
No, I don't think we will be those opportunists, as you see me sending Jon out, who has a -3 in the conditioning today and is 12 minutes behind Florian. So if he does manage to do anything, that'd be great for him, but again, I highly doubt it. Just being in the breakaway to bother the others and make sure that they don't get towards the end in this relatively short stage where we will just defend Florian and the other riders. I want to keep that 1-2 position. I want to be ready for that final sprint here in this last stage of the Tour of Romania to try and win it here with our riders. Now on to the last 7 kilometers of this stage. Obviously it will be a mass sprint. The stage is so incredibly flat. It would be weird to not have a mass sprint here in this final stage. And you see how our sprint train is going, although it is a little bit not doing as well as I thought it would be. It's not as upfront. It's really kind of like trying to still find each other here in these last 4 kilometers of this stage. Finally, we managed to stick more up front here with Kim Yoon-suk's riding. Ooh, Kim Sung-bom falling here in the last 3 kilometers as well, so that's terrible for them. A big split here in the peloton as well. You see here the fall basically broke up the peloton. That means that those riders will not participate here for this final sprint. Last corner here where I want to sprint, another corner here where I want to sprint with our riders, and we do not manage to position properly here, which means that Heo at least gets a 3rd place and the rest of our riders get a top 10 position, at least the riders that matter for the general classification. That means that Florian thankfully wins the general classification. Van Strijten here in 4th. The Romanian rider ends up 2 seconds off the lead, so we barely lost that lead as well with this final sprint. I'm happy that he managed to keep it. I'm happy that he managed to secure it and that they did not do as well. No points or no climber classification. Florian winning the points classification, however, so great job here by him today as well. The general classification is for him. The points classification is for him. Great job. And that means that he also wins the Young Riders classification. I'm quite certain we'll see that in a second, while he's still celebrating his beautiful red jersey of the points. Yes, there we go. A Young Riders classification also for our French rider. The Belgian riders ending up in 3rd. And you see here 2 of our Korean riders also in the top 10. So a good result here for our riders in general, I would say. Really well done here by Florian, who again is part of the B team. Not really part of the main squad unless it is part of the lead out and things like that. So this is his time to shine, and he is taking that time in stride. Heo actually moving up 7 positions to a top 10 in the general classification thanks to his 3rd place here in the last stage of the Tour of Romania. Florian keeps his lead, almost losing it here to the Romanian rider and the American rider. So great job here by Florian. I was worried that he would lose it, but thankfully he has maintained that lead, winning the points classification, winning also the young riders classification, of course. And in the team classification, we are nowhere near the top as usual. Anyway, that's it for the Tour of Romania. Let's quickly go to the Tour of Serbia, where again we will show up with part of our B team. Not much of our A team here. This time a bit of Cole Owen that is along for the ride, our American rider, who is good with sprints and good with the mountain stages. He has been developing a lot in those mountain sections, and with 2 stages that are quite hilly, I'm hoping that he can perform here in this race. Again, most of our B team is here with Yusarang and Jon as well. Let's see if they can prove themselves at any point.
And welcome. It's going to be a monotonous day when it comes to the terrain, but at least the teams with sprinters won't be complaining. And, of course, those opportunists with a bit of daring won't make their life easy.
Now, I'd like to send Van Strijtem here out in the attack, but he's it's a bit difficult for him to weave through the riders. I would say that there's a gap there, but nope, not really. And he joins the breakaway a little bit later, hoping to gain some additional bonus points here in this race and bonus seconds in this race, setting him up for a good general classification. In the meantime, we'll protect Cole Owen and Heo here for the final, which will for sure be a mass sprint, making sure that they are ready to participate in that sprint and get a good position and a good result there. In the meantime, I'm hoping that Van Strijtem, our Belgian rider, will be able to get some bonus seconds. And as you can see here in this first in-between sprint point, he does sprint for it and he gets across the line here as first. 3 additional bonus seconds here for him. Great job by our rider. Still over a minute on the peloton as well, so we make it here towards the second in-between sprint point, where the other riders don't seem to be very excited to sprint along. So another easy first place in the in-between sprint points here for our Belgian rider. He has a low yellow bar. As you can see, we're trying to stay away here from the peloton, but in the end we do get caught. Still 1 rider up ahead. That means that the second and third place in these in-between sprint points is still available, and we do get that with, again, our Belgian rider and Heo Sungsu getting some additional bonus seconds here. Let's see if it will matter for the general classification and these final sprints. As we are in the last 7 kilometers here of the stage, you already did his push and he is absolutely exhausted, so he will rest in the peloton, and we just tried to set it up properly here with the rest of our riders. I did not notice it here at the start of this race, but Van Strijtem here with a +3 in his statistics, looking great here in this race, making sure that he will be able to sprint here towards the final part of this race. Cole is the second best sprinter here of today's team, so Heo will lead them out, and I'm hoping that this setup will guarantee us some victories and some good results here. As you see, our sprint train still kind of forming, still having issues trying to get there towards the last. The sprint trains on the left are already sprinting. Cole here jumping from 1 kilometer away. Van Strijtem lost his wheel, and that means no good result here for our Belgian rider. Can our American rider make up for the fact that our Belgian rider lost the wheel? Will it be a top 3 position here for him? No, a top 5 in the end for our American rider, where our Belgian rider, who got plenty of bonus seconds, ends up in a 13th position. Hoping those bonus seconds will help him out here in the general classification. I think it is a total of 8 bonus seconds here for him, so that should still move him up to, I guess, a 3rd position here in the general classification. Let's quickly move there. A 2nd place here in the general classification. Heo Sungsu also with that 1 bonus second in the top 10 here, and Cole Owen as well with a top 5 position here in today's race. So not really the final sprint as we hoped it would be, but thanks to those additional bonus seconds, Van Strijtem here in a fantastic position in this race. And you saw there very quickly, Yusarang getting some bonus points in the mountain section as well. So in the next stage, he will carry that mountain jersey. For how long, I'm not entirely sure, as we go into this second stage of the Tour of Serbia, which is much more hillier and much tougher on our riders. None of us are in the top 10. Let's see if we can upset the favorites here in this race.
The profile of the route is a fairly mixed bag, so everybody should find a section to their pleasing.
plenty of hill points, or mountain points I should say, to gain, and I send out KoOwen to try and get those mountain points. Again, he has been developing very much in that direction, which is unexpected here for us. I was hoping for him to be a little bit more towards a time trialist and maybe gain some mountain statistics here as well, but he has really developed in that mountain statistics in the duration of the previous year. So great job here by him. It's good to see that development for our riders as well, where the rest of them don't really seem to be developing all too much, but I'm hoping to gain or get a good overview of that towards the end of the season. That might be cool to add here as well. No breakaway as the peloton was chasing after us, but you see here Cole getting across the line as first, barely. Was it Jon or was it Cole? It was Cole here in the end getting across the line as first. Jon taking the second place as well. Not really wanting to break away here, but his power is just so strong that he just does that. On towards the bonus seconds here in this race. You see the mountains were too difficult here for Jon. These bonus seconds here for two of our Korean riders and our Belgian rider, hoping that they will move up even more in the general classification as we get towards the end of this stage. The last 7 kilometers, there is one additional climb, and I am pushing on this climb to try and break apart as much of the peloton as possible, or try to make it as difficult for many of these sprinters as possible. You see here Heo struggling to stick onto this sprint train with 5 kilometers to go. He already did a push earlier. I don't want to lose him as he is positioned well in the top 10 of this race. So I'm hoping that he can stick on a little bit longer. You also trying to stick on in the sprint train, trying to be there up first. A little bit of a downhill section. That means that our riders can regain some of that energy as well, which is great for them as we are heading towards the final part of this race. 2 kilometers remaining. We are well positioned here up front. Some of these riders already sprinting. I'm not entirely sure why. That triggers me to sprint relatively early as well. Van Strijtem doing an excellent sprint here. Cole losing his wheel once again. What a mistake here by KoOwen. And Van Strijtem, our Belgian rider, gets across the line here as first. The German rider that is leading the general classification gets across the line here as a second, triggered by some of the other riders here in this race, making sure that I sprinted a little bit early, but a fantastic job here by these riders. Van Strijtem here winning the second stage here of the Tour of Serbia. Great job here by him. Great result, and that means 10 additional bonus seconds for him as well. The rest of our riders getting across the line here in some top 10 positions here, with Owen Cole here in 6th and Yu Sarang in 9th. So good job here today by our team. We should be able to take over that yellow jersey here from the German rider, but we'll see that in a second when we go to the general classification. Point lead still for Matthijs van Strijtem as well here. And here we go, the general classification. Kim Yeon-sok also moving up a lot of seconds here, which is unexpected. KoOwen moving down a position, well, even though he had a top 5 here in today's stage, or a top 10 here in today's stage. Heo sadly moving down here, losing a lot of positions because he could not keep up here with the final pace and here with this uphill section at the end of the race. But we now have the yellow jersey here, making sure that we just need to defend this in the other stages, in the last stage that is coming up. And I'm sure that we will be able to. KoOwen in the lead of the mountains as well. Matthijs van Strijtem in the lead of the young riders jersey, and second on the points classification. So let's see what we can do here in this final stage of the Tour of Serbia. Another hilly stage, but with a basically flat section towards the end, and I'm certain that this will end up in a mass sprint.
And welcome. It's an undulating route, so it will be a tactical race.
Here we are, the last stage here in the Tour of Serbia. Again, a big hill section here in the middle, so I'm sending out KoOwen once again, if anything, to get those mountain points, hoping to be in a bit of a breakaway, but there's not a lot of riders that seem very excited to be in the breakaway with him. Additionally, the peloton seems to be hot on his tail, trying to catch back up with him. He's 9th, so I'm hoping that they would let him, but nope, no chance here for KoOwen. In the end, towards the mountain section, you see how much the peloton is pushing. Everyone is exhausted, but Cole, however, had some energy left to get these mountain points, and that makes him secure in the mountain classification. No other rider here even close to get those mountain points, and especially here now in this second in between mountain section, where the entire peloton has split up just so Cole could get the mountain points here in this final section. This is KoOwen's terrain. You can see it here. He easily gets these mountain points, and Van Strijtem still in the yellow jersey here up front, just waiting. Now towards the last in-between sprint point, I'm hoping to gain some additional bonus seconds here, also with Cole and Van Strijten to secure that yellow jersey. We do a pretty decent job. There's one rider here up front, so there's no chance to gain the full bonus points and bonus seconds, but a second and third place are available, and we very easily get that here with our riders. On to the last 8 kilometers of this race. As usual, it will end up in a mass sprint. Who would have thought? It is a bit of a downhill section here towards the end, so we just need to be sure that we are up front. It's not as steeply down as with the other races or the races that we had before, but still positioning will be crucial here for us. Bit of a better sprint train here for us, I have to say. We've been positioned here rather well. Most of our riders already exhausted also from the earlier section. I'm hoping that the rest of the peloton has the similar issues. Cole Owen and Van Strijten, obviously two of the better riders here in this race, and with a little bit over 2 kilometers to go, I do a sprint here with Cole Owen. We are very much up front. Other riders already sprinting as well, hoping that they lose their energy, and they do. Van Strijten very easily getting towards the finish line and crossing the line here as first. Already had the yellow jersey, already had his victorious streak going, and he just secured the yellow jersey here with another victory in the Tour of Serbia. Very good job here by our riders. The previous stages, or the previous race, won by Florian Carpentier. This one won by Matthijs van Strijten. Our B team showing that they are no match for the 2.2 races in the positive sense of the word, by winning both of the races, winning stages in those races, and performing rather well. Matthijs van Strijten also winning a race in the previous race, so really good job here by him. As you can see, very well done here by him in that yellow jersey. And who's that on place 9 and 10? It is Cole Owen and Kim Hyun-suk. So great job here by those two riders as well, eking out here, or basically filling out that top 10 with their presence. 3 riders from KoRail in the top 10. Primer classification obviously won by Owen Cole, dominating in that sense. Really easily winning there, basically taking over all the top spots in the mountain classification. No one really came close, and showing how much he has been developing in that mountain section here and in over the past year. So great job here by Owen Cole. Points classification also here for Van Strijten, doing well here in the sprints, doing well in those bonus points section. So great job here by him. 2 jerseys for him at least, and I'm sure because he is first in the general classification that he also has the young riders classification, so that would eke it out here at 3 jerseys for Owen, or for Matthijs van Strijten. And yes, he does here, as you can see, the winner of the young riders classification, obviously Matthijs van Strijten as well. Owen Cole with his points jersey as well. So we have once again all the jerseys in one of the races. Great job here by our team, really well done here by KoRail. Nothing much to add except that we are once again not in the top 10 of the team classification, so that is what it is. Anyway, Matthijs van Strijten winning the last stage here of the Tour of Serbia. Great job here by him. Cole Owen and Kim Hyun-suk ending up 9th and 10th in the general classification. Van Strijten winning with 10-second lead here of the German rider, so great job here today by our team. The rest of our riders obviously ending up lower in the general classification. Jon ending up all the way towards the bottom. So poor result and poor showing once again by him, even though he came second in that points classification just because he was basically protecting Owen Cole. And we are second to last in the team classification. So that's a choice. Either way, winning the Tour of Serbia. So a great job here by our team. Let's quickly move on to this 2-point pro race, which will be a flat mass sprint where we are not even in the top 10.
Today's terrain is fairly level, so it's ideal ground for those who are good on the flat.
And also here we have sort of a B team with us, with Jae-won Jun this time, however, as there was that that hill section, or the mountain section I should actually say, in that 4th stage that I think will determine the results of this race. So we need to perform there with Jae-won Jun in that 4th stage. Owen Cole as well, who has those mountain classes in those for him in that 4th stage. As you can see, are getting some bonus seconds with Jae-won Jun and Heo. So if they do well here in any of the other stages, I'm hoping that they will have a good result in the general classification. But that 4th stage will be important for us. No Fietskapal, no any of our priority sprinters or better sprinters. Oh no, a fall here for Kim Sung-bum. That's his chances in the general classification gone. And an immediately split here in the peloton as well, with around 60 riders breaking off here at the pack. None of our main sprinters here in the race, as they are exhausted still from the Tour of Britain. No Fiets-Capel, as he is exhausted from the other races. He has not performed, or he has not participated in any of the previous episodes either, so he's really moving up there towards that final episode where he will come back. That is a bit of a spoiler already, but you will see him there. Sprint here towards the finish line. We were not positioned properly. There was something weird going on there also, so not great here for us, and a win here by the German rider Sung-Soo Heo. Being part of some of the best sprinters here, though, in the world, coming in 6th, so great job there by him, unexpectedly, to be honest. And so, I'm still, honestly, to be kind of proud of that result. I did not think we would score a top 10 here. We were very poor positioned, and that sprint was deplorable by us. But in the end, getting a top 6 here with Heo. Also in the top 6 in the general classification. Jae Won-jun in that 7th position as well, setting him up slowly but surely for a good classification. We are first in the team classification for once, which is nice. And the rest of our team just following behind us. Still, we have 7 stages in this very, very long tour, so plenty of opportunities here for us, plenty of chances here for us, a lot of strategic chances here, a sort of strategy to maintain the lead or try and get the lead and maintain it, and we'll just have to do our best here towards this second stage, which is plenty hilly and will be exhausting for most of our riders.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Mountain stages are especially interesting to watch. It's not by chance that the major events to have marked the history of cycling have taken place on mountainous terrain.
That is a new introduction for me, at least from this commentator, talking about how interesting this race will be. And once again, we try to send out Owen Cole here in this stage to try and get any of the bonus seconds that he has. He is currently in 23rd, but only has a 10-second deficit to the number 1. 2 large mountains there, but more towards the end of the stage, means that we will try and push there once we get there to try and break apart the basically sprinters. We've done our best to try this, but as you can see here, the peloton is still mostly together, which is not ideal for us. So here, trying to get towards the finish line with 7 kilometers to go. Only 2 riders remaining, but I'm betting here on Carpentier to try and cover us, to try and save us here in this last little area of the race, to make sure that we have a good lead out and, you know, stay up front here. The only rider that is able to sprint for us would be Jae Won-jun, who also does not have the best sprinting statistics. So either way, this will be a very difficult sprint for us. Leading the pack here, however, making sure that we are up front and try to, you know, lead out our team as best as possible. Again, I'm hoping that the sprinters are exhausted after those 2 mountains. You can see most of our team is. Cole Owen absolutely done. Jae Won-jun here sprinting with 1 kilometer to go. Again, not the best sprint stats, but the other teams don't seem to be doing really well either. Who wins the sprint here? Is it one of the classic sprinters? No, it is not. It is an Italian rider, and Hwan Jun-jae here in 6th. Carpentier his lead out in 11th. So a pretty good sprint here towards the end. Unexpected sprint here towards the end, honestly, from my part. I would expect to do worse here in this stage, in this second stage of the Tour de Langkawi. Hoping to get Hwan Jun-jae in this good position for the general classification, hoping to break away some of the sprinters or other riders here in this race. You see here most of those sprinters being more towards the back of this race, together with some members of our team. One of the main mountain riders here withdrawing as well, so that is good for our team. Hoping to do well here in the coming stages. Again, I think it is that 4th stage that will be determined for the general classification. Owen Cole getting some of the in-between bonus seconds, moving up all the way to 5th. Jae Won-jun and Heo sadly moving down a couple of positions, even though they had a pretty decent positioning, but it's those bonus seconds that move them down. Still in a top 10, however, with 2 of our riders, Heo in 11th and Florian in 13th, so we are in a pretty good position, I should say, here in this general classification. We just need to make sure that we are ahead of most of these mountain riders and then make that determining push on the 4th stage. You see here this Italian rider doing an excellent job here in this final sprint, moving all the way up to 1st after winning this stage, so congratulations to him. And let's see if we can do better here in this 3rd stage. Again, the 3rd stage very, very flat, very much working towards that 4th stage. So this will be one for the sprinters, and it will definitely end up in a mass sprint.
The profile of this race is quite flat. Expect a fast pace from the peloton.
Will we try to go for the attack to get an additional bonus seconds? Yes, we will. And we will try that with Heyo, who's currently 7 seconds behind the number 1. But you see how closed in we are once again with our team. I want to attack here. I want to try and get away. I want to try and get some additional bonus seconds, especially if I can do a good sprint towards the end with Heyo. The peloton, however, is already chasing after this breakaway, and I already used most of my energy to just try and get to the second group here behind the number 1. Again, the peloton behind us trying to catch up to us, and they do, and that kind of kills the motivation for Heyo to really attack and move out and see if he can be a part of that breakaway. In the end, Florian Carpentier manages to be part of the breakaway. We do manage to get him up front, 10 seconds off the lead, in 13th position in the general classification, and he gets across the line here in first in this in-between sprint point, getting an additional 3 seconds for him. Great job by him, making sure that he is well positioned there. And again, in the second in-between sprint, the other people in the breakaway don't really seem to be interested, so I try to chill, and then I get overtaken by both of them, of course, just before the line, because I get too overconfident in those little sprints. It is what it is. In the end, we get 4 bonus seconds, and that is worthwhile. We got caught up there in or by the peloton, I should say, with that little breakaway. So no additional bonus seconds for us in that third in-between sprint point, and that means that we are setting up here in these last 5 kilometers for another mass sprint. You see Heyo with minus statistics, Carpentier as well. So I am betting on Jaewon Jun and Cole Owen, or Owen Cole, I should say, with those final sprints to do well and make sure that they get a good position here towards this finish. Again, Jaewon Jun not the best sprinter, so I'm betting here on Owen to do a good job, and maybe Jaewon Jun can finish in a pretty good position. You see here Carpentier sprinting relatively early, leaving Jaewon Jun and Owen Cole in the dust. That means that Jaewon Jun needs to basically sprint and try to catch up with them. Same for Cole, who lost the wheel of Jaewon Jun. And of course, the Dutch sprinter Kees Bol wins another stage here in the Tour de Langkawi. A fantastic job here by the Dutch sprinter, who is still of top class, winning another stage here in the 2-point per race. Sadly for us, that means that we do not do as well in the general classification, losing a couple of positions. Florian moving up, however, thanks to those bonus seconds that he's gotten earlier on in the race, but we wanted to do a little bit better in this sprint. If we won this sprint, we would now be maybe possibly number 1 in the general classification, or even if we got a podium, we would be in that top 3 position there. So not great for us, but you know, still plenty of races here left to go in this 2-point pro race. Again, a relatively B team here with us today, so I cannot say that I am too disappointed in them. They're still fighting for the victory here in this 2-point per race, and that is what really matters here in these stages and in this very difficult race. On to stage number 4, the stage that it is all about, ending up in a big mountain here towards the end, and I'm betting here on Jaewon Jun and Cole Owen to finish it off.
Today is a day for the climbers. The team leaders should have their work cut out, and they're going to have to count on the support of their teammates. Alone, it looks difficult, unless an ideal opportunity offers itself.
Exactly, and I don't think an ideal opportunity will offer itself, especially not with us in the bunch. We will make sure that we will be positioned properly in that mountain. We will do our best to make sure that there's no breakaway very far ahead, and I do not want to be part of any breakaway here in this initial stage. Of course, there are some bonus seconds here early on in this stage, but I do not believe that I want to exhaust my riders at any point here in this race. So I just want to keep them in the bunch. And you join us back 15 kilometers before the end of this race, and we are set up in this very difficult hill stage. You see here 2 peaks here where it is very, very steep on this mountain, just before this mountain point and just after this mountain point, and immediately our sprinters and our initial hill helper are already exhausted. So I'm betting here on Carpentier, Cole Owen and Jaewon Jun, of course, to finish this off here in this final mountain section. They are just riding their own pace, but you see how difficult it is here, even for Carpentier. Owen Cole here with fantastic stats. We do not have any water, however, and that is important for us as well, especially for that yellow bar, especially for making sure that we are well hydrated and, you know, have the good statistics here for this race. KoRail, I thought he would relaxedly move up here in this mountain section, but he is giving it his all, making sure that he's breaking apart even more of the peloton. The other riders are following, getting across the mountain points here as first. That means a lot of mountain points here for him. A great job by him. And that means we do end up in this more relaxed section where we can get some water here for our riders, make sure that they can recover maybe some of the yellow bar and red bar while moving down this little hill section, preparing for that second very steep section in this race. You see here that the energy gels have already been used. I kind of used them too early. I was expecting much more difficulties here. And what do we see? A break in the peloton, an unexpected break in the peloton. I did not consider this to happen here in this race. That means that I need to try and move on here back towards this front group. They are already 40 seconds ahead of us. What a mistake here by our team. We just wanted to get some water. We just wanted to get rehydrated. We didn't want to do a big all-out effort here towards this line, and we were hoping that it would work, but it did not. You see here now we've ended up in this front group finally, but how much energy did it take? It almost took all of our energy, and there's still 4 kilometers remaining. I want to chase down this yellow jersey. I am doing too much effort here. I should not have done this. I am making a big mistake here by doing so, but I don't want this yellow jersey to just go ahead and get that win. You see here so many riders of the Astana team, the part of Case Bull, who is in that yellow jersey. One additional rider way up ahead, also struggling now, who I thought would just easily win this stage with the lead that he has, but I keep pushing here with our riders, with Jae-won-jun. We are in that very steep section now, just before the finish line. It is the worst part of this race. We are just heading closer and closer towards that finish line. A kilometer remaining here for our riders. The rest of our team absolutely exhausted behind already. The closest person is Florian, already at 6 kilometers or 6 minutes behind us, 6.5 minutes behind us. Heo all the way to 11, so they are done in the general classification. What can KoRail and Jae-won-jun do here in this stage? You see me protecting Jae-won-jun with KoRail, but it is too little too late here in this last race, or in this 4th stage of the Tour de Langkawi. Not the result that I hoped for here with our riders, not really the push here that I was hoping for with our riders. Try to do a little sprint here if I can with Jae-won-jun. Try to make sure that we do not get caught up by other riders. But again, not a great job here by us. We finished in 31st and 32nd position here with a group of other riders, 2 minutes behind the number 1. So a failure here on our side. We wanted to do well here in this very difficult mountain stage, but it was just a bit too difficult. We technically did not ride it very well, which meant that we lost out on a lot of positions here in the Tour de Langkawi. Moving all the way down here in the general classification. No top 10 here for any of our riders, which is not that great, and that means that this is almost a lost cause unless we can recover it in the next 3 races here. Another very flat race, which means that we will sprint for extra bonus seconds.
It's going to be a monotonous day when it comes to the terrain, but at least the teams with sprinters won't be complaining, and of course those opportunists with a bit of daring won't make their life easy.
And today we are those opportunists, especially with Owen Cole here, who is in 23rd position, 2.5 minutes off the lead, trying to be in that breakaway, getting blocked by one of the teammates of the one that is already in the breakaway. So kind of a dirty move here by the people in the breakaway. But he does manage to stick it out and get there, however. In the end, no real result here for Owen Cole, who's already exhausted. And you see me being not very focused also in this 4th race, still distracted by the failure from the previous race. Why you join us 4 kilometers before the finish line, now already up to 2, and we are so far from the back. I do a very early sprint with our riders. It is a big mistake here from my end. Once again, I sprint with everyone that I have to just try and be up front here in this race, to try and get a result here if possible. But once again, a failure on my end, a lose of focus, I would say, not paying attention here to the race. A big mistake here by me, making sure that we get across the line here in a 8th and 9th position with two of our riders, which is a great job by Hyunsuk Kim and Sung-Soo Heo. Fantastic job by them in a 2-point pro race. However, we should have done better and we should have done more here in this race, in this 5th stage of the Tour de Langkawi, where again, a very flat stage with opportunities here for our sprinters, and we messed it up. So big mistake here by me. Let's see if I don't repeat it here in the 6th stage. Obviously another flat stage, obviously another mass sprint. Can we beat the favorites here? Can we upset them here with one of our riders? It will be a difficult one.
Hello to one and all. It's going to be a monotonous day when it comes to the terrain, but at least the teams with sprinters won't be complaining. And, of course, those opportunists with a bit of daring won't make their life easy.
And just like the previous days, of course we are those opportunists. We do not have the mountain jersey anymore, as you can see. Cool Owen not anymore in that beautiful red jersey. So we try to attack here with him. Obviously we want to have him here in the breakaway. The red jersey is with us as well, trying to go for those mountain points, trying to break away here from him. Cool Owen so strong here in this stage, +2 on the statistics, and you see that here in the first mountain point, easily riding away from one of the riders in the breakaway. We are just a group of 2 trying to stay away here. No mountain jersey with us anymore, and that means that I get across the line very easily here in this first one, and additionally here in this second one. So a lot of mountain points here for us, and currently leading by 3 points once again. A great job here by Owen Cole. Once we get towards the third one, we are joined by 2 additional riders. And again, I try my best to stick it here up front, trying to push this breakaway. You see them already attacking here, trying to get towards the line. And a couple hundred meters before the line, I do an attack here with Owen Cole, and he's just too strong, this man. 22 points now in the mountain classification here for Cole Owen. Great job here by him, basically reconquering that red jersey, that mountain jersey, and all we need to do now is focus here on this massive sprint that is coming up with 6 kilometers remaining. Our sprint train is going once again. You see me protecting Jae Won-jun, who should have been in the yellow jersey, which should have been our favorite here in this general classification, but sadly now in 24th position, 2.5 minutes down on the number 1. And all we can do now is try and recover as many seconds and as many honor, as I guess I would say, in this stage by sprinting here with our riders. There's a big corner coming up, so I'm sprinting early here with Florian Carpentier. I want to be properly positioned here. Sprinting now from the wheel of Florian's, from the wheel of Kees Bull, it seems, or from another rider. No, it is another rider here, where Kees Bull jumps once again all the way to victory. Cole Owen not able to beat the favorites here in this race, getting into the 7th position once again. 17th by Florian Carpentier. A top 10 here by Owen Cole once again, but not beating those favorites, not getting any additional bonus seconds here in this race, which means that he does not move up a ton of positions. Only 2 here for him. Still maybe a chance for a top 10 position, but that means that he needs to make up at least a minute here with only 2 stages left to go. It will be a very difficult one, and I don't know what how the last 2 stages look like from the top of my head. But I'm assuming they will mostly be sprinter stages once again, and it will be too tricky for us to really do much here in the general classification. Plenty of movement here in the points for the mountain as well here by Owen Cole, getting that mountain jersey back. Currently in first. Let's see if we can protect that mountain jersey and move up in the general classification.
Welcome. The profile of the route is a fairly mixed bag, so everybody should find a section to their pleasing. Today's race will be run under pouring rain.
Pouring rain here for us today. Owen Cole all the way up front, of course, with that mountain jersey. Let's see if we can get him into the breakaway. You see me attacking immediately here from the start to try and see if I can move him up. There's a bunch of bonus points and bonus seconds here at the start of this race once again, so it would be good to get those and maybe get some additional mountain points here as well. If the breakaway works along with us, of course, that is always the question. Moving up now here, you see the breakaway still going, actually. A minute now of a lead on the peloton. The cooperation, not that great anymore, but still good enough for us to get towards that first mountain point. And Owen Cole gets across the line here as first, extending his lead in the points classification. That's exactly what we want. Moving up now to the last 10 kilometers, there is another mountain point, so I'm taking you there with us. We are pushing as hard as we can in this final section to break apart as much of the peloton as we can and try to deliver some additional points here to our team. No additional points for Owen Cole, but that's okay. The competition also did not get any bonus points, so there's a 7-point lead now here for Owen Cole, making sure that his lead is pretty secure, and we push down here, especially in this downhill section, to break apart the peloton even more. You see it's costing Kim Sung-bom the positioning in the peloton. It's slowly breaking apart. He does manage to get back just barely, and that means with 3 kilometers to go, we have a slight uphill section here, which should be great here for Jae Won-jun for his lead out. This is a mountain section. This is what he is great at, and it moves him very quickly up towards the front of the peloton. Normally a sprint and a mountain section, that is not great for our team, and it's looking like we get beat here towards the line once again. No! Oh, we were in such a great position. Would it at least be a top 3 here for us? No, not even that. A disappointing result here in the 4th position. We were looking very well here in this final stage, or in this final part of this stage, looking to win it, but barely being on the line here. Not even a top 3, a 4th place here for Owen Cole, 8th place here for Jae Won-jun up this mountain, this little finish here. Honestly, a good job here by our team. We tried our best. A top 4 finish isn't bad for us, but it's obviously not exactly what we wanted. At least Owen Cole moves up 3 positions now in a steady top 20 position in the general classification, so that is good for him. Obviously still in the lead of the mountain. You see some of our team also moving up as well, so that is good. Moving up into the points as well, which is a very big deficit towards Case Bull, of course, with his wins, so no chance for us there, but at least a top 20 position at this moment. Still 2 minutes off the lead. We're slowly but surely edging closer in this final stage. Let's see what we can accomplish. Maybe we can get one last final win here in today's episode.
Hello and welcome. The profile of this race is quite flat. Expect a fast pace from the peloton. This morning, a few riders told me that they weren't too motivated at the thought of riding in such conditions.
Cole once again up front in his mountain jersey, and what do we see there at the beginning of this stage? Mountain points up for grabs. So we try and go out all in the attack. Who follows us? Case Bull. Why? Why are you with us, my man? You already are doing well enough. Leave us alone. All I want is those mountain points. And you see here the peloton chasing after us. Obviously, they did not want Case Bull to go away. And the breakaway in the end, obviously getting caught as well. So we are trying to sprint here for any of these bonus seconds. You see what a mess this sprint is. And obviously, who gets across the line there once again as first? It is the Dutch sprinter. The rest of our riders with Owen Cole and Heo getting the additional bonus seconds. So good job there by us. At least we get some additional bonus seconds here. Let's see if we can get some additional ones in this final sprint with a top 3 position. We'll have to see if that succeeds with the last 7 kilometers here. Obviously, as the commentator just said as well, it will end up in a mass sprint. It is a very flat final section here. Some slight up and downs, but nothing that should interfere here with the final sprint. You see some other riders trying to break away, trying to do a little bit of an attack. I wish them a lot of luck because they will not succeed here. It's not the tempo that they can kind of beat for them, so it would be amazing if they could, but sadly there's no chance there for them. And we are fully set up here with our sprint train, trying to get Carpentier out once again Carpentier and Owen Cole once again in that sprint. As long as they stick on each other's wheels, it should be fine. Corner here once again. Owen Cole loses the wheel of Florian Carpentier. What a mistake. 1 kilometer remaining. It is such a tight bunch here. There's no chance for Owen Cole to get through this bunch of riders. Does he at least get in front of Case Bull here in this final sprint? Yes, he does. A 7th place here for him, but sadly, once again, not a podium position, not a victory, and no good result here for our team. So that's it for us. The semi-B team ending up with 2 people in the top 20. We tried our best. Maybe it would have been better here to bring some other riders or riders like Fietske Paul and some of our top sprinters, but they were still recovering from the Lloyd Banks Tour of Britain and the other races. Again, Paul Fietske with too many races under his belt in the previous season, so he needed to give some couple of weeks of rest there and get his motivation back for racing after suffering after suffering from winning all those other races. KoRail at least getting up third in the points classification, first in the mountain classification, so at least we're taking home a jersey, which is good for us. The young riders obviously moving up as well here. Great job here by our team. We tried and it didn't succeed as well as we wanted to, but still something to be proud of. On to the points, we're up to 4,900 points. Great job here by our team. And you see here Matthijs van Strijten moving up in the wins, and same for Florian Carpentier. Obviously did a great job this episode in many of the other races. Sadly, we could not perform in the Tour de la Carie. Not the same results as we had in the Tour of Britain, even though we were fighting as I would say slightly lesser opponents, but that is okay. This episode was more towards the B team and less around the A team, hoping that next time, especially in the final episode, you will see much more of the A team once again. Let's head on quickly to the overview of the points now everyone's doing. You see a big jump here from Matthijs van Strijten and Florian Carpentier. They did incredible this episode. Very close now towards other racers. Matthijs van Strijten actually passing Owen Cole, so great job there from him. And Paul Fietske, who still has not rode in this episode and in the previous couple of episodes, is still the lone person on top. One more episode to go after this. Can any of the riders catch up to him? I highly doubt it, but you'll have to find out. That's it for now. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 24, and we are very close to the end of the season. Again, one more episode after this. I'm looking forward to showing you all what we have in the next season as well. Hope to see you then. Thank you guys very much for watching. Goodbye.